Hi guys! So ignore the crazy hair. I'm in my daughter's room filming. Yes, I painted a giant tree on her wall. My initials, my boyfriend's initials. That was before we knew if she was a boy or a girl. Anyway, so today I thought I'd do a story time on the time I had a stalker. Like a for real stalker. This happened, let's see, probably 2003-2004 school year. I had just graduated from high school and moved across the country because my parents went through their midlife crisis and drugged me with them. So a week after I graduated, my mom and dad, me and my little brother, and I had one sister, her husband, and their kids, we all decided to move from Minnesota to Idaho. I didn't want to do this. I had lots of brothers and sisters that stayed here, and my parents said that if I moved with them, they would help me pay for college. So I went, and I am a very, very, very shy person, and I have social anxiety and regular anxiety, and I had horrible self-esteem. And I had just moved to a new state and started a new school. And not just any new school, but I went from a tiny little Christian boarding school. My class, my graduating class, was 25 people. 25 people, and it was very strict. We had a girls' dorm, we had a boys' dorm, and girls were not to enter the boys' dorm, boys were not to enter the girls' dorm. It was very, very, very strict. So then I went from that to living on a campus of, I think, like 4,000 people. And it was co-ed dorms, which were brand new, beautiful, amazing dorms. They had a theater room. They had like your access key card to get into the building. Nobody else could get in. And my RA was a boy. So it was so many changes. I remember when my mom dropped me off. I had so much stuff, first of all, because I'm a pack rat. So we got all my crap unloaded. And like she goes to leave and I was like, don't leave me here. I don't know anyone. Like, I was so shy and so nervous. Okay, so this happened in the first semester of school. I had a huge course load, and I had most of my classes over in the art building, and I had 3 jobs on campus. All of those were in the art building. And then I had one class, my English class, which was my only 3-day-a-week class. It was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that was over in the regular student union building, and there was like juice bars, the cafeterias, hangout places in that same building. So I think one day it was like right after English class or something like that, and I think I had an art class after. I don't know why, but I had my art giant huge board for like, I think, watercolor painting. So I had like, it's probably 3 foot by 2 foot giant board that I was carrying around, and my backpack and all this stuff. And I stopped to get a smoothie before I went back to the dorm to change or do whatever and then go to another class. So I was standing there, super shy, not talking to anybody, waiting for my juice, smoothie, whatever. And this guy came up to me and he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he was very, very nice. And I knew he was hitting on me, but it was very, very weird for me. I came from tiny school, remember? I hadn't really dated anybody, not a real dated anybody. And so he was chatty, and he wanted to walk me back to the dorm. And so I was like, okay. We walked back, and he seemed very nice, but there was just something in his eyes that just made me feel like there was something icky and evil in him, like he had no soul. I don't know what it was, but I remember having that feeling in the pit of my stomach, like something is just off with this guy. And so I was like, I am just being paranoid and weird. I was like, I don't even know him. And he came up to the door and he was like, "Can I come in, see your room and whatever?" And I was like, and you had like a bedroom, and you had your roommate, and then you had like a living room, and then you had 2 more roommates, but they were called suite mates. They roomed together. You all had like this big like apartment together. So I was like, okay, all my roommates I know are home at this time. They're always home at this time. It was like lunchtime. And so I was like, sure. I wanted to see if they thought he was creepy too. I don't know. I just wanted them to get rid of him for me. I was like, sure. So he helped me carry all my crap up. I had to use my access key to get him into the building. He did not live in the dorms. And so, and I realized I was so naive and so stupid. But anyway, I let him in and I brought him up and I introduced him to my roommates. And to this day, I hate his name, but I won't use his real name, so I will call him Bill. But, anyway, so I brought Bill up there, and I introduced him to all my roommates, and they were all like, I don't know, kind of giggling and talking, and they were like, oh, Joette has someone up here. Like, I was super shy and whatever. They were excited for me that I had a guy interested in me. So, I don't even remember. I think, like, I showed him my room, I showed him kind of some of my artwork, whatever, and then, like, the other girls were in the living room, and they weren't far away, and he tried to, like, close the door, and I was like, dude, I just met you, like, I'm not doing anything. He came over, and he, like, tried to grab my hand, and he was like, you're so beautiful, blah, 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 and then, like, he tried to lean in and kiss me, and I was like, I don't even know you. Like, I just met him. I haven't been on a date with him. And I was like, And I was like, okay, time to go. Like, I have a class to go to. And so we walk out into, like, the living room area. And he was like, can I get your number? And I was like, oh, I don't even know it. Like, I'd only been going to school there, like, I don't even remember. Maybe a few weeks. And so my one suite mate hears this, didn't get the vibe I was sending, and was like, oh, here it is, and gives him my number. And it wasn't like my cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone back then. It was like my personal room phone that me and my roommate shared. So they were all giddy excited for me, and like, I walk him out, and later on I was like, why did you give him my number? And they're like, oh, well, you brought him up. We thought you liked him. And I was like, no. So, I thought, whatever, I just won't answer the phone, I won't call him back, nothing, it's fine. So, when was it? So that was like a Monday. I think on Wednesday, he was waiting outside of my class, like my English class. I don't even know how he knew that I had class that day. Like, if he saw me walking out of the class the first day, I never noticed him. He wasn't in that class with me. I saw him down by, like, the food court area. So I really don't even know how he knew where my class was, what time my class was, what days I went to class there. But it was a little like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I wanted to talk to you again and get to know you a little bit better. And so I was like very, very, very shy and kind of horrified, and I did not know what to do. I didn't know how to, like, let guys down gently. I didn't know how to let guys down. I just didn't. I was, like, so awkward in that situation. And so, my one roommate, I saw her when I got down the stairs, and I was like, come walk with me, please. I was like, come here. And so she was walking, and he was like, I think he was like trying to get me to answer a bunch of weird questions, and I was like, just not even responding anymore. He was like, JoBeth, why won't you talk to me? JoBeth, why won't you talk to me? And I guess he had called the night before, and I had already told my roommate I don't want to talk to him, and she was like, she's busy, whatever. And so yeah, he was walking behind me and my other little suite mate, and we were just walking, and I was trying to ignore him. And he was getting really mad that I wouldn't talk to him. And he was like, why won't you talk to me? And he was getting, like, more and more agitated and aggressive. And I was like, I was like, let's walk faster to my roommate. And so we get, like, pretty close to the dorms. And he had a thing of pop. And he threw it on both of us and, like, walked away. And I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, I have social anxiety. There's tons of people around who all saw this. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. Then I get back to the dorm, And I'm horrified. I took a shower. I changed clothes. My roommate was like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that he did that to you. And I was like, me either. I don't even know him. It's not like I had been dating him. It was so weird. Okay. So after I showered, changed clothes, maybe half hour to an hour goes by. And my phone starts ringing. And I was like, I'm not answering that. And it was ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And so I just let it go. I was like, I'm not answering that. I was like, guys, just don't answer. So my actual roommate, who shares the phone with me, shares the bedroom with me, comes in. And she was like, do you want me to talk to him? And I was like, yes, please. Just tell him I am not interested and to leave me alone. So next time the phone started ringing, she answered it. And she was like, you need to leave JoBeth alone. She was a much stronger personality than me and a very assertive person. And I'm very, very happy that she was my roommate. She was a little more aggressive than I would have been, a lot more aggressive than I would have been. But she was like, you need to stop calling. She is not interested and you need to leave her alone. And he was like, I need to talk to her. I just want to talk to her. Just put her on the phone. And she was like, she does not want to talk to you. And she hung up on him. And he called back again. And he is getting really upset at this point. And she just told him off. She goes, look, Jack, ASS. She goes, you need to stop harassing us. You need to stop calling. She does not want you. Leave her alone. So that was like Monday something happened. Wednesday something happened after class. And I was dreading. He didn't know where any of my other classes were, thank God. But I didn't know how he found out the first time where my class was. So I was very, very nervous. So that Friday came in, I asked my roommate, the aggressive one, I was like, please, will you meet me outside my English class? I'm so scared that he is going to be there. And so, like, that whole class, I didn't pay attention. I was, like, looking out towards the window on the door, and I was, like, waiting and waiting and waiting for class to just be done. And the bell rang and I like got up as quick as I could, went to the door, and I saw my roommate and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw him and he was like right behind her and he like walked straight up to both of us and he was like, JoBeth, you need to talk to me, and like started like yelling at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have never even been on a date with you. Why are you so weird? And my roommate was amazing. She like grabbed my arm, walked back with me the whole time back to the dorm. He is like walking 2 steps behind us, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get in the dorm right behind us. He's not gonna leave us alone. He already threw pop all over me. I was like, I don't even know what this guy is gonna do. So we get back to the dorm. He did not get into the dorm, thank God. I don't know how, but me and my roommate get upstairs and she goes, you need to talk to campus security. She goes, this guy will not leave you alone. She goes, I don't feel safe. I can't meet you outside your class all the time. She goes, you need to tell them. And I, such a shy person, I was like, I don't want to cause a big deal, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how. Somehow she convinced me to go to campus security. I told them what had happened, and they looked into the situation and they got back to me and they said actually that this guy, they have had problems with him stalking and harassing other girls on campus, and he actually had an accident a few years ago and he had a scar on his head right there, and I didn't know what it was from, but he had a head injury. I don't remember if I think it was a car accident or something, but he had some brain damage, and he also has a testosterone imbalance. So when his testosterone levels get high and he gets aggressive, he's not really realizing where the line is of right and wrong. And that made me like 100 times more scared. Because what if I was walking back to the dorm and I pissed this guy off and he's having issues and doesn't know what he's doing is wrong and like beats the crap out of me or kills me or whatever. I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. They're like, if he does one more thing to you, one more thing to anybody, they're like, he's kicked off campus. He's been warned. This is his last warning. And I was like, good Lord, if he's already stalking other people, why does he have to have so many warnings? So they said from that point on, I was not allowed to leave the dorms by myself. I was not allowed to walk alone at night or pretty much any other time. The guys from the dorm were amazing. They're like, if you ever need us to kick his ass, they're like, we will help you. Like, if you need us to go anywhere with you. I actually had to have campus security walk me to my nighttime class because I had one class once a week. It was a block class. It was from like 7 to 9 at night, and they didn't want me to be out by myself. So campus security would come and get me and like give me a ride over to the other building and then pick me up. I was like, this is horrible. Like, it was horrible. Like, I would be walking, and if I heard somebody walking behind me for a long time, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Like, I was so scared that it was going to be him or it was going to be some other guy, like, trying to get me. It messes with your mind. And let me tell you, this was not the end of him. Like, I remember within the next couple weeks, like, I would be standing in line at, like, one of the food places at the food court in the, whatever, student union building. And he would come and get in line right behind me because you had to use your little card to pay for all your food. He would stand in line right behind me, like he wasn't breaking the rules. He wasn't talking to me, but he was getting very close just to make me uncomfortable. And then he would sit like a table away and just look at me. And I was like, I got to a point that I was hiding in my room anytime that I wasn't in class, and I would not go and get food, which I lived in the dorm. My food card had a food plan, which was the only way that I could get food unless I go out and get groceries, which we only had a teeny little mini fridge. So I lived off of like ramen and anything that my roommates would sneak me, or I'd give them my food card and be like, can you please just bring me back something? Like, I was so scared to even go and eat. Like, go get any food to bring back. All I did was like hide in my room for like, it was probably a good month or so before I even like ventured out to eat in the cafeteria again because I was so scared. He made my life absolutely miserable. And I ended up living in that town for like another 2 years or so, and I saw him. I just went to that school for 1 year. It was a beautiful, wonderful school, but I just had that very bad experience there. But that feeling of not being safe, it doesn't just go away. When even moving states away, like, I feel very uncomfortable with guys that I don't know. I don't trust guys. It's a very, very creepy feeling to know that someone has testosterone imbalance, a brain injury, and they are angry with you and they want you. Like, so scary. So you guys, I just want to warn you, be so careful. You don't know if the guy that you are rejecting or pissing off has issues like that. Like, just be very, very careful. Do not walk alone at night. Do not put yourself into dangerous situations. I never ever should have brought him up to my room. I didn't know him. I didn't know if he was trustworthy, and I did not know for sure if my roommates, what if they hadn't been there? What would have happened? Like, just be very, very careful about the situations you put yourself in. I was so young and so naive, and like, yeah, I learned a lot, and I also, like, I didn't want the attention and I didn't want to report the incident because of my social anxiety. Like, if somebody is doing something like that to you, get help, report them, like, go to the police, go to whoever you have to, but get it taken care of. You do not want to be like murdered because you didn't want to report something. So just please be very, very careful, guys. Love you. That was my real story. Bye.